What's going on, everybody? Today is a rough day for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. Hong Kong, spot Bitcoin and spot Ethereum ETFs went live, and it looks like we're seeing a sell the news event. And you guys might remember the US spot Bitcoin ETFs, we saw a similar thing play out as well. We saw a bit of a sell-off once they were approved. And I want to show you guys how much of a drop we saw when the US spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved. We ran all the way to $47,000. The US spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved, and we dropped about 20%, bringing us down to 38,000 from 49,000. From Bitcoin's current all-time high, we're about 18% down. For us to drop about 20% for Bitcoin, it would have to get taken down to about 58,500. I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce here at the psychological 60,000. The RSI is becoming pretty oversold. In past times around this level on the RSI, we have seen relief rallies. But if we don't hold this 60,000, if we don't bounce here, which I think is a possibility, I do think we're likely to head to the 58,000s if 60 doesn't hold. And honestly, the high 50s are somewhat uncharted territory. We just popped right out of it this cycle. We did have some consolidation right here around 57,000. If we do start heading to that level, that'll be a potential level of support. But to me, when Bitcoin's down this much from its top, when you're at this point in the Bitcoin halving cycle, we just literally got past the halving. In all past halvings, we have seen Bitcoin's price run after the halving. It's not right after, but within months after the halving, we do start appreciating in price. I don't think this halving is going to play out any differently. And I do think this is one of the last great buying opportunities for Bitcoin. I am personally reaching near the end of being a buyer when looking at the 4-year cycles. If you're looking at Bitcoin 10 years out, Bitcoin's always a buy. If you're looking at Bitcoin based on the cycles, I do think Bitcoin is still a buy. Ask me again in 6 months and I probably won't be saying that. And keep your eyes peeled for a Grayscale and IBIT and their next update. Right now they're at 1.5 billion away from flipping. Grayscale now holds under 300,000 Bitcoin. They now hold 297,000 Bitcoin. Their assets under management are now 18,700 million. IBIT's assets under management is 17.2 billion. They're 1.5 billion away. And IBIT is currently holding 274,000 Bitcoin. They're under 25,000 Bitcoin away from crossing each other. I do expect a bounce somewhere around the flipping of GBTC and IBIT. And this upcoming catalyst may be what drives us out of this downtrend. I also wanted to remind you guys to look out for Bitcoin miners that are reporting earnings. The next one coming up is Riot on Wednesday. And we also had the preliminary results from Sdig, Stronghold Digital Mining. And while they slightly missed their revenue expectation, they did report a net income, a $5.8 million GAAP net income. This is not non-GAAP. This is great seeing a positive income. And while Sdig isn't moving huge on this news, it's also not tanking along with the other miners. Many others are down 8%, 10%, etc. And Sdig is sitting at 0% right now as of this upload. So the next miner that I know of to watch out for is going to be Riot. Their earnings is coming out on Wednesday. And seeing these first initial Bitcoin miners reporting earnings, this will set the tone. If we see revenue beats, if we see EPS beats, better yet, profitability, I do think this will set a positive tone as we get through the rest of earnings. And let me know what miners you guys are loading up on. Now is definitely the time in my opinion. The train has not left the station yet. We're still down 50% for a lot of the Bitcoin miners. They just went through pricing in the halving. The market clearly saw this as a negative. And next the market's going to realize that the halving is in fact a huge positive for the Bitcoin miners when you look out into late 2024 and into the end of the bull run, sometime likely in 2025. But now is a great time to be loading up the miners in my opinion. Let me know what you guys are adding to. And you know, this is nothing new. We've seen Bitcoin drop 20% on spot Bitcoin ETF news. And then what happens soon after? We went to rally on to new all-time highs. I think this time around is nothing different.